Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the CineClwd Podcast, episode 30.
36.
I just wrote it down, dude. 36. 36 consecutive weeks. We never stopped. We take no days off. It's been 36 weeks since September of 2023.
There's more than 36 weeks.
Shut the fuck up. Don't tell them that we miss. We don't miss. We never miss. I'm there every week. I have the availability of Kawhi Leonard and consistent and win MVPs, and we do a good job. We do a good job with it. Today we got an episode.
We're just not overpaid.
No, we're not fucking. Today we have an episode about movies.
No way.
No fuck.
No way. That's crazy.
More specifically, we're talking about a big movie, the biggest release of this past week, I think. It would be the sequel to Smile 2. Smile 2 is interesting. Let's talk about it. It's a movie that feels like more than a movie, I think, in the sense that it generates like a whole like marketing campaign. Everybody knows when there's a Smile movie. People are walking around smiling.
Isn't that the mark of just a good marketed movie?
Sure, but they're walking around with like creepy smiles and shit.
Did you see? Apparently, there was like at the Yankees game, there was one sitting behind the Dodgers. Yeah, he was just sitting behind the fucking bleachers. I don't know where he was exactly sitting, but he was just there.
Yeah,
my own showed me. It was like, damn.
Yeah, there was two of them. And then did you see the video of when there's a foul ball that gets hit and he gets really scared and breaks character?
No, I did not.
He's like smiling, and then there's a foul ball and he's like
I did not see that.
That was funny. I was like, not so smiley now. No, but people are getting paid to just sit around and smile. People are getting paid to sit around and smile. It's cool. Smile 2, we saw it last week. Just to offer a little bit of a synopsis, Smile 2 is, like I said, the sequel to Smile. It sees Parker Finn returning, who wrote and directed the first one, who wrote and directed the short film that the first one is based on, and then has expanded it into this part.
We're assuming you know what's going on with Smile 1, so we're going to gloss over some of the core aspects. Would you agree with that? I don't mind going over it, but it's
2 years. I'm going to talk about this one. Smile 2, we're zoning in on Sky Riley. Sky Riley is a pop star living in New York. She's prepping for a new world tour. She is essentially the problematic pop star, essentially. Shit starts getting weird. Sky starts seeing people smiling at her. She starts seeing horrifying imagery. Inexplicable shit's happening. And then there's this pressure for her to get on tour, and she's dealing with these terrifying events happening. And
that's the movie.
We got a Smile movie now. Essentially, we're not going to talk about Smile 1, but Smile 1 is... I'm going to talk about it. Smile 1 is about the smile monster that feeds on people's trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, right? So you have this similar type of gist here where this person is
being fed on.
Yeah, she's being preyed on by this beast over a million different things. Before I want to talk about the movie and get into the review and kind of discuss it, there's a story. There's not really a story, but Parker Finn. Okay, this guy in 2020 makes a short film, and it stars the woman, and I can't remember the actress's name, but she's in the first Smile movie. She's the first patient who rips her face off. She's the poster of Smile.
An Australian, if I remember.
Yes, the Australian. Yes, exactly. And the short film stars her, and he wrote and directed. And then they were like, you know what, man, you did a good job. This is good. We're gonna make you a contract. You're gonna make a feature film of this style, and you're gonna release it to Paramount Plus. This is in 2022.
I think I want to make sure you didn't get the story mixed up, but from what I remember exactly, is she was starring in a movie with a similar concept that he saw and was like, I want to take that.
But he made the short film.
He made it too?
Yes.
I was for sure. I thought he didn't. No.
He made the short film, and then Paramount gave him a deal for the feature film.
Even bigger props.
And then they said, make it a Paramount Plus exclusive, straight to streaming.
Yeah.
And then they put it in front of test audiences, and everybody was like, why would people stream this? Put it in a theater. Went to the theater. It was the highest grossing horror movie of 2022. Mm-hmm. It was buzz. It worked. And Parker Finn was like, dope. I guess I am.
Let's make another one.
And they told him, we're going to make another one. And they gave him more budget. And Smile 2 just premiered at number 1 at the box office with like a 40 million. I don't know. They made a good amount. They made a good amount.
Was it not 25?
I don't know.
I think it was 25.
They made a lot. I don't remember how much exactly they made.
I don't think the number really matters here. All we know is that it's a success, right? Like it really just came in and did what it had to do.
It worked out really well. They made 23. My bad.
Yeah,
23 million at the domestic box office, which is crazy in an opening weekend for a horror movie because those don't get.
Nope.
You're segmenting like half of your population. This is not a comedy or an action movie. This is something that not everybody's willing to see. But we were, and I don't know.
I was forced. I like allegedly.
I like horror movies. I don't get scared. I enjoy the scare. I enjoy the creepy stuff. I like it.
I like it when I walk out. I don't like it when I'm in it. In a sense, like
I love being in it. Like I love it. I love the haunted
like the
house
extra
feeling.
stress. I'm like, why would I have like all this stress weighing on me? I'm like, I don't know. It's still an enjoyable experience though, because it really lets you like see another side of cinema entirely.
Yeah.
Like when you're all used to like those like animation movies or fucking like action movies, you walk in and you're like, man, this is dreadful.
Oh yeah,
yeah. This is
like,
really
holy
dreadful.
shit. This is tough to watch.
Yeah.
We both went to Letterboxd, scored it 4.5 stars. High for a horror movie.
Yeah, really
high for a horror movie released through like mainstream. Like this is not elevated. It kind of is, but this is not.
At its core, it is
at its core elevated horror. It's filled with jump scares. There's some gory imagery. There's a lot of shit going on. But where do you start when you talk about why this movie is so good? It starts in the like meat and potatoes of the movie, and that's who's occupying screen time and what are they doing on screen, and how is this character written, and what are they doing? Because really, this horror movie, well, Smile, the first one was focused on Sosie Bacon's character. This one's focused on Naomi Scott's character. And it's really it almost feels like a character study, these Smile movies, because it's like you're with them as they descend into insanity, deal with people in society as they're trying to explain what the problem is, and no one believes them. It's a whole shit show. So where do you start when we say this movie's worth 4.5 stars? I
start with one single thing. But the fact that it's a sequel lets you take for granted a lot of details that you would have to explore beforehand that was explored in the first movie. And that lets this movie breathe so much.
I don't know about that. I don't think that's what makes the movie better.
No, but it starts with that. Like imagine if you had to be weighed down.
You don't have to get out you don't have to explain anymore.
No, you save a 25-minute sequence of explaining of just like context. And at the end of the day, this helps tremendously with pace. Yeah. And this is a great way to start.
So I've said it before. When I go and watch a movie and review a movie, I talk about how I review it like a driver's lesson or driver's exam, right? I will start at 100 and I'll dock whatever I don't like. And when I was finished with this thing, I was like, there's not much I don't like. And I felt really good about this movie literally 5 minutes into it, because we open with these, we're talking about what's on screen, talking about the meat and potatoes, talking about this opening sequence where we get the character from the last movie who's now infected with the Smile curse. And I was wondering, I'm like, okay, you're making Smile 2 and now you're talking about a pop star. How do you tie that to this? Like, it's like gimmick alert. There's corny alert. There's dumbfounded alert. There's everything is going off in my head. Like, there's no way you tie small town psychologist gets infected with this to megastar gets infected with this. Lo and behold, they pull it off, and they pull it off really well. 5-minute one take action sequence to open this thing.
So cool.
It's one take. Like it's one take. It's not, there's no cuts. It's so good. It's so good. And it's an action sequence. It's not scary. It's really, I guess there's like a jump scare at some point.
This is how you build tension.
Like, that's how you start something like this. This is how you go. Like, I don't know. But that's how I felt when I first 5 minutes in, I'm like, yep, okay, they're feeling it. Whoever, Parker Finn, who's sitting behind the camera, who wrote this script, he's feeling this. He is unconditionally, unapologetically going to make this movie. And he's like, man, fuck it if you don't fuck it. If you don't think this makes sense, if you don't like it, too bad for you. This is awesome, and I'm rolling with it. And
I wouldn't even go and say
like
that. I would just say that when he understands what he has to do, like it comes naturally. I don't think, because we went with a group, right, that went into the movie. At the end of the day, I've never heard someone say in the group that we were in that this movie makes no sense.
It doesn't. It makes perfect sense.
Which is why I'm like, you know, like this early sequence, when you're out of context and you're starting a movie, you might not understand what's going on. Yeah. It'll be to explain down the line. And that's the beauty of this movie. It's how it unravels upon itself and links between all the aspects.
It works in more ways than one. It doesn't feel like your traditional horror movie. It doesn't feel like a Megan or an Insidious or no, it's shit. Oh, it's linear. It's just the shit is sending you on a ride. It's a movie that sends the audience on a. Wait a minute, like, you know, hold on.
What I meant by linearity, what the fuck you say even that word? Like, what I meant by that is that at the end of the day, the movie might be linear, but at the end of the day, the character doesn't feel it as linear.
No.
Which is what makes it for the audience, especially when you're trying to follow it through her eyes, like even more confused in a good way. So
you take this one-take action sequence that eventually the events that happen lead to this pop star seeing the smile curves in a scene that's in the trailer. Yeah. The whole what you call it? The weight, the weight, it's a plate. The plate, to the face. There's a word for it though. It's not plate. There's a whatever. He takes a 35-pound fucking piece of metal and smashes his face in, which we see in the trailer. You don't see it as graphically, but you see it in the trailer, and then you know that she's got the bug. She's got the bug. And I'd say before that she's good, but from that moment on. There's a hostile takeover from Naomi Scott in this movie. And this is not like what's crazy about Naomi Scott, not what's crazy about her as a person, but acting wise, a lot of people get a horror movie role and they're like, I'm going to do this horror movie. It'll be what it'll be, whatever. She was like, and it feels like Naomi Scott's mindset is like, yeah, what if I won a fucking Oscar from Smile? Like, she's like, what if I just did that? What would the world, what would happen if a movie like Smile 2, I was nominated for like Best Actress for it? And you're like, oh, shoot your shot, whatever, you know? They got her in this thing. She is singing. She is dancing. She's a pop star, which goes together. And then she's terrified for her life, psychologically descending into madness, and putting on the best performance of her career, easily. And then one of the best performance I've seen this year, easily as well. I'm pushing for it. I'm pushing for Naomi Scott in award season. I don't give a fuck.
How much do you think she'll be snubbed, though?
She's not winning shit, but I am pushing for it. In my book, she's up there. I don't know. I can't think of... It's that same thing, same problem I have with like The Substance. Where it's like, I doubt that Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore are going to get to the award season. But
they should. Deserve it. Yeah.
They should. It feels that way. I don't know. This is a horror movie again. They don't really give to horror movies the way that they should. But it'd be I'd be lying to myself and everybody if I said Naomi Scott is not in that conversation in this performance. She's so good. Like, she is the driving force of the movie. She's the reason this movie actually can justify the runtime it has, because it's long.
It is long.
She's able to do it. Like, she can carry it as far as it needs to go with ease.
And she makes all the characters around her work too, because like in this movie, she's not only just the main character, she's the reason literally the entire cast has a job.
Oh yeah, she's the movie. She's the center.
She's the center because everyone depends on her.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's losing it, she's able to portray that as well as the horror that happens in her life, which is crazy. Like, so many layers that she's able to like just tap into.
And it's like from facial expression to personification to even her talent as a singer and dancer is impressive. But I'm saying, like, there's scenes in this movie, especially towards the end, where you get like a flip side of her. There's you see like flashbacks and stuff, and you're like, she's good at everything, really. Like, you know, like she's really good at everything this movie asks of her. Everything Parker Finn in this movie has asked of her, she delivers
beyond
and then some.
Yeah.
Like she's adding extra.
Like how like you mentioned it earlier, but how crazy is it that for a horror movie, I'm saying, like, I'm gonna stereotype here, for a horror movie to have a character this fleshed out. Like, think about it.
I think it's
Like,
not like the craziest like of takes. Like, yes, horror movies sometimes show their characters. I don't think there's been a horror movie, not this year, where they've gone like hand in hand the way that this goes. Like, this character feels tailor-made for this actress.
It synergizes with
the
movie
it
itself.
feels tailor-made for this actress, and this actress feels tailor-made for this character. And I love the dedication. I love the idea that you're faced with a predicament of being like, you're going to be in the Smile movie. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to be in the Smile movie. Do I act my ass off, or do I phone it in and get the paycheck? And it's like, you could phone it in. It's not, you don't need to do what she doesn't have to go as above and beyond as she's doing, but it takes this movie to a level where I sat there watching it like, this might be the best horror movie I've seen this year. From the I loved Immaculate. I loved Late Night with the Devil. I think Sydney Sweeney was great in Immaculate.
Yeah, but
I think this
movie,
is better.
What this movie has that all of those horror movies don't have, coming from someone who's like not striving to go watch every single horror movies there is.
Yeah.
It's effective on more than just its horror. You know, like, you don't feel you're in strictly for the concept. For a movie that is solely based on the concept to begin with, that's crazy. Like, when you go and compare it to like a movie like Immaculate, you know you're gonna get nuns. You know you're gonna get like religious elements,
you know what
and you know what you're into, and everything else just feels like built around it, and you don't expect anything else than what you're presented with. This movie forces you to be curious, and for a horror movie, to force you to be curious means you have to open up and let in everything that is going on.
To me, what I liked about this is the full, total terrorist element of it. Like, this woman is completely terrorized. Like, she can't do anything without this. And so yes, that's kind of building off your point where you talk about the concept. Like, this is conceptually designed to make you feel like you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. Like, you know, the Smile one tells you perfectly, you gotta traumatize somebody, or the monster's gonna take you and do it for you, and that involves you kill yourself. Like, you know, like, so it's like, you know, that's what I think is amazing about this, is that as an audience member, you're like, fuck, you gotta. You can't do anything. You complete and total helplessness, and the concept of this movie is helplessness that is trying to terrorize you. I am intentionally scaring you because you can't win. And that's what the best type of horror movies are. And this is, to me, a grand scale of that. Because the first one, this is what's amazing about a sequel. When you're presented with the idea of doing a sequel, you can get bigger, or you can go in a different direction, or you can fucking fumble the bag. And this movie is exponentially bigger than the first one. The stakes feel way higher.
And the second movie, the second installment of that franchise, they realized that the concept alone was not enough to make it work. You need a strong leading character to make it work.
I think the concept alone, I think what works about this is that the concept is so versatile. You could put it in anything. I could watch Smile forever. Put Smile, like, especially after this one, you could have a Smile in every situation. You don't know, like, we don't know anything. And so yes, I see that you pair it with a strong female character, but I don't think that's what it takes to make it work. I think that's what it takes to make it great. And I think that's the difference, is that you get a movie that it's good. Like, you have a movie that at its core would be fine regardless. But Parker Finn, the studio execs, whoever worked on this thing, they actually thought of elevating this more than whatever it could have been, which is not something you see a lot, especially from studios and horror. Sometimes it's like, fuck it, it was bad.
Yeah, just phone it in for October. And
yeah, exactly. Just make a movie. We'll release it in October. We'll see how it goes. I had that problem with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie like last year, where it's like you have this amazing IP on your hands, and you make a movie that the fans love, because the fans were gonna love anything you're gonna make. But at its core, the movie is not all that. Well, this is all that. This is an IP that works with amazing success. It grows way bigger than the original. Technical standpoint,
beautiful,
fucking amazing.
Beautiful.
I love slow patient shots when it comes to these type of movies, where it's like a lot of times it happened in this where the character would look at something and there's something wrong and their face changes, but instead of showing you what there is, they're just staying focused on her face.
Yeah,
they'll show you after, but what is she feeling? It's very much POV.
Yeah.
In a way where it's like you're seeing the character in action more than you're seeing what's happening in action, and it works well from a technical standpoint, in my opinion.
But for me, it kind of comes like it comes down a little bit and knocks some points when it comes to those like dialogues, because I noted it down in my notes where there's those scenes where you're gonna have that stare down where she's gonna like her face will change, everything will change, but she's in the middle of a conversation with someone, and the fact that she just like leaves everyone hanging, and they just look at her like, the fuck is going on, makes you as an audience feel like this is cringe. Like, what is going on? Like it kind of hangs on for a bit too long, in my opinion. The two scenes I think of, that you probably know. There's this like a word thing where she has a speech. Yeah. That like for like a gala. The gala thing. So I'm like, there's two instances during that moment. I'm like, damn, I'm just.
Yeah, but to be fair,
that's the point.
You know, to use the word cringe, like, it is cringe. She's embarrassing herself. Yeah. Like, that's what you're supposed to feel. Like, that's effective to me, because it's like, yeah, she's terrified, but she's also embarrassing herself in front of all these people,
which is embarrassing then to you. I'm like, Grandma, I really don't like cringe scenes. I'm like,
I love it. I love it if it's effective. This, to me, I was like, yeah, she's embarrassing herself for sure, but she's fucking terrified. Like it's, what do you want? Like, it's just good acting. I don't know. Like, I'm like, perfect.
No, I'm not critiquing the execution. I'm critiquing the fact that you have that. I feel like,
I think that's got to be like a personal thing.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
My brother hates that too. Like, we'll watch something and he's like, oh no. Like, he's like, why are you talking? Like, why is he? And I'm like, oh, this is a fucking movie, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I'm in the same boat where I'm like, there's ways to make you know that like she's uncomfortable, like she's making a fool of herself, that don't involve like public shaming.
But that's how bad it is. Like, that's what they're trying to tell you. Like, look how bad she is.
Yeah. But I feel like in the substance, they did that really well, though. In a way that it's not cringe to the audience, but you feel that it is cringe.
What sequence?
The ending.
Bro, she fucking doused them in blood. There's
no... Before that, like when she just walks on stage. And she's
I think there's a lot of metaphorical symbolicness to the substance that this movie doesn't have. Like, and this movie is actually you can get away with some of the audience's reaction. You can get away with the fact that you get a character like Dennis Quaid who's just gonna sit there as the blood like there's some things symbolic and metaphorical that you can get away with in the substance that Which Smile doesn't. It just leans into it. It's like, it's just going crazy. I want to shout out one guy, and I forgot his name. Hi God.
I already know the guy.
I know you know the guy, but I wanna. I want to shout out Ray Nicholson, bro. Jack Nicholson's son. He plays the boyfriend, and he's in the poster with a big smile. He's got his dad's smile. He has one scene in this movie where he actually talks, and I was like, bruh, amazing acting. Yeah, this is amazing. Between him and Naomi Scott, they're arguing in a car. It's a really good scene, but he's amazing in it.
It runs in the family. That's all you can say.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got the sauce, and I'd like to see him in more of these horror type of things. I'd like to see him be the character who's driven insane. I would have liked to see him in a film, like there was a movie earlier this summer of called Strange Darling that involves like a hunter and shit like that. Like, well, it's like a plot twist type of movie. It's good, but I'm saying like a character, he needs to be like that. He needs to be shotgun or axe in hand, chasing people, terrorizing people. Not because he has the face to do it, but he kind of got the face to do it. Like he's got the build. He's built like that. Like he's got it in him. He's got his dad's juice. That's for sure.
I mean, when you have it, you might as well just like go for it. You know?
My only gripe that I really had with Smile 2, and this is something that I actually didn't like that they did, is there's a creepy ambient noise every time something's gonna be scary, and I'm like,
to be fair, it's really only at the beginning, the first act they have.
Yeah, because at the end it's essentially all that noise.
Yeah,
but I'm saying for the first and second act, when stuff is building, you'll hear the like I'm like, it to me it takes away of the. I like sometimes I like. I don't want to say I like to be jump scared, but I just like to not know what's gonna happen, and this.
But I think it's a double-edged sword using music in a horror movie. Because me too, I had like a couple of gripes with the soundtrack, but at the end of the day, you need sound to like tie it all together. Music is what will. Because you can see everything with your eyes, but your eyes will only tell you what you see. Your ears will like locate you in space. You really need a creepy ambiance.
I'm good with it, but I'm saying it was like a cue.
Yeah,
it was like a cue for the audience to know like something scary is gonna happen. We played the noise. Did you hear it? And I'm like,
here's the difference though.
Fucking softball horror movie. What the fuck?
if you keep your eyes on the screen, you're gonna get scared.
Sure, but I agree, but I'm saying there's an element of surprise that can come from not having a noise play before. And I understand it's creepy, but like, imagine if you don't play that sound. Imagine if you don't play that sound and something scary just happens.
I think you lose context if you do that.
I don't think so. I think it works all the same. You know something scary is gonna happen.
Feel like
it's just like a cue for like a jump scare.
It's the difference between a gong hit and a crescendo. And I feel like this movie wants its horror to be a crescendo, like not necessarily an ascend, but like descent into madness and like losing yourself in what is essentially just a curse that you have. And the music is just the first step to get there. And like it builds off, and I'm telling you, you forget whatever the fuck is happening with your ears because what you see on screen is fucking crazy. There's a fucking naked guy in the hallway just running at you, balls dangling. You're like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's true. Fair enough.
And for me, it's just, if we keep it on the topic of music, I just felt like at the end of the day, it was not creepy enough for how crazy that sounds. Like if it would have taken a more like. Not. If it was more liberal in the way like it just builds its soundtrack, I think it would have like raised the floor.
Ain't no saying about liberal here, but
but more so like takes liberties. Then
I know what you're talking.
I know you know, but man, we ain't doing The Apprentice. But yeah, at the end of the day, if they dared as much in the soundtrack as they did in the rest of the movie, it would have, for me, elevated drastically.
Perhaps. Two things I want to talk about too. Dylan Jalula's in this, and I like Dylan Jalula from Shithouse, which is the Cooper Raiff movie. Cooper Raiff actually has two of his co-stars in this. He's got Raul Castillo and Dylan Jalula. It's like a trifecta. The only one who's missing is him. He's not in this. He'd be funny though. Dylan Jalula.
What is happening to me?
Dylan Jalula's acting and comedic ability in this,
insane.
She's the comedic relief in a movie that doesn't feel like it needs one. But then you're watching it and you're like, this movie is so self-aware that it can get away with having a comic relief. It can get away with making fun of itself, which is like
crazy.
It can get away with being like, shit's hitting the fan, but this girl is so
out of her mind.
She's like, ride or die, girl. Like I'm like, oh no, like you don't know what's about to happen, you know, like, and then it all makes sense, like the way that the movie unfolds with Dylan Jalula's character, it all makes sense, and she has one of the best like smile moments in this thing. And I'm like, wow, amazing. Now she's good.
I need to pull up Letterboxd.
For what?
Because this movie has the best one-liner that I've read this
What
year.
is it?
I'm gonna pull it up because I really don't want to.
Oh, I know it. I know
you
it.
know
I
it.
know it.
But like, I just want to make sure. But,
I remember it by heart.
bruh. I did not literally quote it like that, but that's how
I remember the literal line.
Go for it.
It's if I say it without context, it's even better.
Yeah, go for it.
So the line, and your favorite line of this movie is, "I can't believe I'm gonna die in a fucking Pizza Hut freezer."
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy
Yeah.
word. I heard that and I just started laughing to
Yeah.
myself because this is, as you said, this movie is so self-aware
Yeah.
that she's able to like not break character because truly she isn't, but she's able to break the curse just to
She's able
realize,
to just like make a joke.
yeah, no, just to realize how fucked up she's in right now,
But
like the situation.
Also, movies that take themselves too seriously tend to fail.
Mm-hmm.
In this, not in the sense of like a horror movie, but I'm saying a movie that takes itself way too seriously is annoying because it's like you can't joke. People are gonna laugh even if the shit's hitting the fan. There's gonna be a joke every once in a while. Someone's gonna say something, and there's some movies that do it well. Some people who don't do it well. Like so it's hard because you ride the line of what's cheesy and what's funny. And to me, I remember watching it in Alien Romulus, and
It was
what's his name in Alien Romulus? The android guy. I don't remember. What he drops from the elevator shaft, and he's like, "Don't touch my friend, bitch." And I'm like, it's funny, but it's also very cheesy. And for some reason, the one-liners they pull off in this movie don't feel cheesy. They just kind of feel funny.
And now that we talk about it, I don't know how much I believe in the score I gave to like editing and pacing. Because to me, the placement of those moments were so key to making this movie digestible. Like, I gave it a 7 out of 10 in terms of pacing. But I feel like, although it was long at some times, I feel like just that alone.
It's a long runtime.
It is a long runtime.
You don't need it all. You don't need it all, but it's all there.
But I feel like you need all of the third act. If anything, you could cut. I love the way the third act happens.
Nah, it's fine. That's funny actually because when I've been listening to reviews for this movie, and a lot of people believe that the third act is the act that the movie falls overboard in a way. Like it jumps the shark. It does. It really does. Like you go from like low, like easy to like fucking whoa. Like like okay, this is how we're doing this.
But at the end of the day, don't you want to see what happens?
No, yes,
like,
but
you want a reward at the end of the day, and I feel like a subtle reward for a smile movie is the wrong kind of reward.
There's a way of going about the reward. I'm saying the third act when it feels like, the third act where we deal with like the entity and this and none of it's real. Like, all of it is I like it. I thought it was really fun, but I can understand the point of, okay, you're jumping the shark. Like, you're like, what? Like, like it's something that the first smile didn't do. And the first smile is very rewarding. The first smile has to deal with this lady. But again, when you talk about growing into a sequel, well, the ending has to be that growth too. When you go from A New Hope to The Empire Strikes Back, that ending has to be better. Rocky 1 to Rocky 2, the ending has to be better.
But the thing is with this ending that I feel like people don't give credit to enough is the fact that this ending was fitting for the character.
It was, but the whole movie is bigger, so the ending has to be bigger. She is a bigger character. It has to be bigger. That's all it is.
The first ending was catered to the character from the first movie. It's scaled appropriately.
Yeah.
Like, as you said.
But this is as well.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like,
I know.
I don't see, although I see like, this is just like overblown. It
is a little overblown, but fuck it. Like,
exactly. Just buy it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about buying in. That's right. Just to talk about the last point I want to talk about Smile is Parker Finn said that he's open to keep working within the Smile universe, spin-off, sequel, whatever. Some people in their reviews, like I was talking about, has even gone as far as to say, I can't wait to see what they do next with like the next Smile movie. In your opinion, when this movie comes to a close, do you think it sets up a direct sequel? Do you think there's a Smile 3 somewhere in this?
No.
Yeah.
The only reason I say no is because I feel like maybe I don't have the vision, but I don't see how you can go not necessarily beyond that, but reuse what you've made with the second one to build something not necessarily bigger, but as good as what you did here, because it feels like it stole all of the juice that this franchise had.
To me, this feels like you cannot make you've closed the door to a direct sequel. You've opened the door to whatever else you want to do within Smile.
But this movie revealed one thing though, that when you're at the seams, like if you imagine like a pot, this movie is a pot that at the seams you see it starts to crack. It's still holding on. It's a beautiful piece of like jewelry or whatever have you, but you know that if you try to do more, the cracks are going to show more.
It's a glass. No. You're talking about like a glass that's full.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You don't want to overflow this thing. No. Like but they probably will, and I just hope you don't try a direct sequel. Go somewhere else.
But what was interesting, like I think I'm going to answer your question with another question. What made this movie truly interesting?
The scale.
For you, was the scale?
Yes.
For me, it was like, if you see from my perspective, what I loved about this movie is how they used the character to drive the story. Because to me,
no, sure, but
this is what makes it work.
Yeah, but that's what made the first one work too. I'm talking about like there's a genuine scale to this thing where everything feels heightened. There's a bigger issue than what was the first one.
Then how do you go from there if you base it solely on a scale?
Because now you have the biggest possible issue.
That you want a full-on
biggest
world.
That's exactly what. That's the only Smile option left. Kill the world, and Smile 3 with planet Earth shaped as a smile. Like do that. Like just fucking all out.
Have an army of demons. Just
put your nuts on the table and just send it. Go full swing. Try whatever. Make it scary. Make it hectic. Make it. You want an audience to feel helpless? Make them truly helpless.
You want a a Quiet Place setting where the world has gone to shit, but instead
it's gonna be like that.
It has to be. I didn't think of it that way because the way I saw it, and perhaps it's just me being stupid, I thought it was a one-person deal.
Doesn't have to be. No, that's what I'm saying. Don't do it. Don't do one person. Well, how?
No, but that's my point.
Did you not watch the end of Smile 2?
I did.
They gave it to everybody. Everybody in that building has it.
I know.
Spoiler.
But I don't know. From the first movie, I was like, it's just a one person
thing. So you didn't think...
I thought about it, but I never thought... I was too obsessed with the fact that I don't see how they do
it's
one character
It's designed for everybody to have it. Okay. Now, everybody in that building has it.
Then you have one more movie in you.
Yeah, it's called Total Fucking World Carnage of Smile. And like, go get the president. Like, go get everybody. Fuck it up. Like,
It's a Smile 3 Happy World.
It could be. I don't know, and I'm down for it. Honestly, I don't think if Parker Finn does it, I don't think he can do any wrong with this. This is his. This is for sure his. Speaking of making three movies and not being able to do anything wrong with them,
really?
Yeah.
Anything wrong?
No, I don't know.
Right. I love the transition, but you must not lie.
I mustn't lie.
You mustn't lie.
Yeah. Okay. So,
how do you even start with that?
I'm gonna start.
Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
3.
So, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks old. Terrifier 3 came out. Terrifier 3 is the highly anticipated sequel to Terrifier 2, which was the highly anticipated sequel to Terrifier 1. It all stars Art the Clown. It is Damien Leone's franchise. Everybody fucking loves this thing, apparently. And I watched Terrifier 3 for the first time. It was my introduction to the Terrifier franchise, and I am left...
Aside from clips.
Yeah, of course, clips and pictures and shit. But it was my introduction to a Terrifier film. I am left befuddled, confused, disgusted, and partially, I'm gonna partially like embarrassed in a way, because I don't understand, and I feel like the odd man out for like the first time of movie culture. I sit down to watch Terrifier, and I'm thinking like, I'm going to get like something like, it's going to be gory, of course, but it's going to be these interesting comedic style kills with this interesting characters and whatever. Just give me something. what the fuck did I just watch for an hour and 40 minutes? I don't know. I was, like I said, befuddled, confused, not the word. Disgusted is not the word. I am a fan of like slasher. I'm a fan of slasher in this context of like Michael Myers. Give me like Chucky, Friday the 13th, the X's, the X, the Pearl. Fuck, I like those type of movies. Like, give me and the Scream franchise is up there for me. It's literally one of my favorite Halloween franchises. It's cool. Terrifier is so free. It's just killing people for the sake of killing people. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. To me, the worst part about this movie is the plot. So then I'm left with what? The kills? And the
What
kills.
is the plot? Like
I don't know. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Like, again, I feel like the odd man out. I don't get it. I did not get it. Like, I'm like, so art, and then there's art, and then there's this really ugly ghost-looking woman who's with them, and they kind of just sit there and do.
Is it still a little girl?
No, she's old and ugly. I don't know. She's like, I didn't get it. Like, art doesn't talk.
No,
but he's on screen the most. How does that make sense? What's so cool about the Scream franchise, or what's so cool about Friday the 13th, is that there is a constant fear of Jason Voorhees or of Michael Myers or of whoever, and they're not on screen. But when they're there, bro, run. Like, like Art's always on screen. He's always just like he's always just there, like he's always just doing something, and you're like. He's sitting in his rocking chair. The lady's talking to him. He's just shaking his head. Like, he's just like... I'm like, there's no threat of Art the Clown.
I mean...
Art the Clown's a man who's going to feast on 12-year-olds. This is what happens in this movie. He kills kids and shit. Like, I'm like... I don't understand it. And I think you take away the horror element. And what I've narrowed it down to in my thoughts is Terrifier is a franchise for the fans.
I have
it is for question. The Terrifier people. If you're in the group, you will like it. If you are trying to get into the group, you're not gonna get into this thing. It's the movement is happening. The wave is gone. But what are you gonna say?
If you were to like try like, because you said it yourself, there's like a movement with this movie, and if you're not in it, you're basically out of the wave, and it's hard to catch back. What made it work the first time around? What would you think for the people that like it appealed to? Because from what I understood, it was more so for the execution of the movie that the like moviegoers, like the movie people, liked it for how like practical and how crazy like they managed to pull shit off.
Yeah.
Like for me, that I thought that was what made this movie an attraction to go to see all those like the blood going everywhere, the way they executed the movie. That in and of itself was enough. But do you think it is enough, or don't you think like it has more or less?
It doesn't have enough. This thing is not enough. This thing is not anything. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or mean. I'm like, Terrifier 1 featured, from what I've researched, Art the Clown is he's preying on 3 women on Halloween day. Yeah. Okay, you have something. Terrifier 2 introduces a protagonist. She fights Art the Clown. But I'm like, who is the protagonist of this franchise? Is it Art the Clown? Is it this girl? What am I genuinely trying to understand? This movie doesn't set itself out to understand anything. It doesn't do enough. If you're asking me if the kills and the gore are enough to sustain anything?
No, my question is more so, is the kills and the gore, if it's the sole reason this movie is what it is, if you see it through that lens, is it enough?
No.
To just be...
No, it's not. It's gross. How many I don't get a kick out of the unwarranted kill. Like, I don't like killing just for the sake of killing. Like, it's like loading up GTA 5, busting out your AK and gunning down the woman on the sidewalk. What for?
Do you think then
it's like, and the problem is like, Art the Clown as a character, doesn't just kill people. He like tortures them. Bro, there's like a shower scene in Terrifier 3 where a man and a woman are showering and he comes through the fucking thing with a chainsaw. Yeah. And he just like, he puts it's like chainsaw to balls, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hurts. I think this movie
it's
would be much more enjoyable with a making of. Like for me, I wouldn't necessarily.
I don't. Because it's too much.
As crazy as it sounds,
nonsense.
I did not watch any of them because lighthearted motherfucker. Like it's just who I am. Yeah. I feel like this movie is super interesting in the sense that the way they made it to me looks interesting. Like how did they just pull it off? Because it has like this one has a small budget too, right? Like it's just I'm curious to see how it's so unique. Like that I can't knock. Like nothing is like that. And for the people that enjoy it, good. But I don't think enjoying it for the violence is a good enough reason.
Unique. You know what else is unique? Someone taking a shit on the floor. That's unique.
I know some people
it shouldn't happen, but it's unique. This is what this feels like. There's a sequence in this movie where Art the Clown gets dressed up as Santa from the mall, takes all the kids and murders them. Somebody literally commented, imagine asking mall Santa for toys and he gives you a terrorist attack. That's what Art the Clown does. He's a fucking savage human being. He just kills for the sake of killing. I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. He should not be on screen this much. I understand praying, but like, and also...
This movie feels stupid.
It is stupid. No, it's stupid. It's not a good way. It's
not
just
a good way.
Dumb.
But it's dumb for the sake of being dumb. Like
sure, how dumb in the same way that Sharknado is. Like that's how I feel. I chalk it up to like a B movie. Like
yeah, but that's what this movie is. Though.
And perhaps that's what they want. Like that's what the fans want.
I'm pretty sure that's
I don't know what the
want.
audience wants.
Bro, do you see how Art like behaves?
He's a fucking crazy human being.
No, but just like his behaviors, like the fucking the movement, the face expressions. It's just it feels goofy and like let's see how far I'll just go. You see, and just fucking brings a chainsaw and slashes someone in half with it. It's the epitome of I'm gonna self-indulge in whatever the fuck I want, regardless of how fucking gross it is.
I don't know. He's got them booked all the way to Terrifier 5, so.
I mean, for how much it costs him to make those movies, I'm not surprised.
Why not? I'm not. I don't.
Bigger question.
There's also a Christmas backdrop.
Yeah, got a bigger question.
What the fuck?
Anyway,
I want to recap I want to recap.
Yeah, but my it'll help you with that.
Okay, go.
I've never seen them either, so I'm gonna ask you if you put Terrifier as a franchise and Saw as a franchise. How do they place?
Saw is better.
Why?
Because Saw actually has characters who have like thoughts. Like genuine, like I'm not trying to be like an ass trying to bash Terrifier for what it is. It's fine. But I'm like, Saw has a revenge plot.
Mm-hmm.
All the Scream movies have a revenge plot. Jason Voorhees has a revenge plot. Michael Myers has an idea of what, you know. Art the Clown has no idea. He's like, I see human, I kill human, I find funny. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't even talk, but I feel like that's how he would talk if he did. Yeah. It just...
I feel like he would talk in a Shakespearean voice. I feel like, just to like press the point home, you'll be like, this is poetry to me.
Anyway, though, just to say, like, Terrifier 3, my first experience watching, doesn't make me feel like I should watch it anymore. I don't think it's for me. But it's fine.
If you want.
Did you see how I planned the review?
For what?
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you here. It's a sneak.
Okay. Oh, okay. I get a sneak peek.
Yeah.
A sneak peek that I could have gotten to my phone and
you could have, but I'm just gonna show you.
Yo. This is behind the scenes stuff. Feel privileged.
No, I'm not showing anybody else.
I know, but the fact that we're looking right now.
Why can't I? Oh. I just covered. To me, that's the most effective way of doing this. So I'm like, fuck it. Anyway, people will have to come here. If you came here on account of the Instagram post, welcome. These are my thoughts on Terrifier. I have none. We're gonna move on. No, I have, but I just said them. And also, like, I'm not a fan of the gore for gore's sake. Gore for the sake of gore.
I can't understand that.
Like Smile 2, the gore in it's amazing. The gore in it felt very purposeful. You're meant to be traumatized. Terrifier 3 does the traumatizing, but art is giggling.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea. He laid a man on his stomach and took a chainsaw to the rectum and ball sack, shredded the gooch, and went all the way up to the head. Cut him in half, like a cheese string.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Feel sick yet? I saw it. Not
Did
like
you look away?
No. It was like, ew. What the fuck is that? That's the balls. No, it's gross. It's gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
He cuts people's faces off. He's just like nasty.
Why
Anyway,
would you even want to watch that?
that's what I don't understand. Like, what type of audience are we talking about here?
Because I get the
Like, who's going to watch this shit?
Because I get the like psycho aspect of it. Like it's fun to see someone psycho just go and fucking on a rampage.
There's a psycho aspect, and then there's the whatever the fuck. This
But that's
is.
my point.
It's
Like,
the
where do
same.
you draw the line? This movie
It's,
doesn't know it has a
again,
line to draw.
No, it just does what it wants, and that's fine too. Like, live, bro. Like, have fun. It's all right. It's all right. Those are my thoughts on Terrifier 3 anyway.
As you can see, not much to say because this movie was. I did not see it. I'm glad I did.
The movie itself is kind of whatever. The story's muddled in the midst of. This was my first experience watching it, so I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's okay. Like, I can see if you like it, like it. I don't. Like, I can't watch this.
At least they have cool posters.
They do make
This-
Art the Clown look majestic.
The second poster from the movie for the second movie. The movie for the second movie. The poster from the second movie.
The problem is
really
it
cool.
just looks so beatable.
That's what I love.
Like, there's no reason you should take a shotgun to him. Like, it's not
But that's the
hard.
B movie aspect
Yeah.
that I really like. Like I love the aesthetic of this movie.
Sure.
But as I said, the execution and overall like what they're doing in the movie is really not for me.
Yeah.
But I love how it looks. I just love the vibe that it gives. It's
Fair
just
enough.
fucking fake plastic, but somehow you're gonna make it. It's gonna make you vomit.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Are you gonna answer my question?
Ask me.
You saw Terrifier 3.
Mm-hmm.
How many kills? Did you do a kill count?
No.
No.
I stopped counting. He killed 3 in the first 2 minutes, 2 in the shower, 1 at the end,
The kids.
and then he killed like 18 kids. I don't know, so much. It's just nasty.
What's your favorite death
In a
of all
horror
time?
movie.
In a horror movie.
That's tough. Like, there's a lot, and I obviously for that you refer to like the slasher genre.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's like, where else are you gonna go?
Mm-hmm.
I said it earlier. My favorite franchise is Scream. Off the top, I'm thinking Drew Barrymore, 1996. That whole sequence is one of my favorite sequences in film. The phone call,
Yeah.
like, what's your favorite scary movie, and then the whatever, dope. I like that. I think Scream 1 probably has my favorite horror movie sequence. Drew Barrymore getting.
It's so classic. It's
Yeah,
just, and it
it's
set off a
amazing.
new wave.
What's your favorite scary movie? They recreated it in the fifth one
Mm-hmm.
with Jenna Ortega. She doesn't die. That's also a great scene, though. No, the movie's awesome. Like, those Scream movies are fun, and the new ones have been even more fun. The 5 and the 6. I think that they fumbled now, losing Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. They had those people.
Yeah.
Like, they needed those people to keep this ball rolling. But the 5th and 6th are just as much fun. Mikey Madison's in one of them. I don't know. The Scream movies are fun to watch. They're good. Like, I'm a big fan of those. And so, yeah, Drew Barry. But the iconic, my favorite death in a horror movie of all time has to be the opening sequence of Scream 1. Do you have one?
I do.
You
have
got
one.
into horror late.
Yeah, I got.
You don't
late,
know them
late.
all.
I don't
Like-
know them all, but from my limited knowledge and the fact that I have very specific tastes when it comes to horror,
Yeah.
like I like the slashers. I don't like so much the ghost aspect of things. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of those movies and everything. But if I had to like
You
pinpoint
gotta
one
see
scene,
the bad guy.
yeah,
You
I
like to
gotta
see the bad
Yeah,
guy.
if I don't
Okay.
see it, I'm like, get me out. I need to see what's going on. In Pearl, there's this ending scene where Misty gets the role for the like theatric play dance, whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck.
yeah,
And Pearl
yeah.
is so jealous and so fucking mad that she comes out, chases her with an axe, like slowly walking as she's like running
She's
away.
so good.
And then there's this 1 minute like chase scene where the girl's running for her life in high heels, stumbles, breaks a leg, just does everything. Pearl's just walking, and once she gets there, just goes fuck you, blasts her ass.
Yeah.
I love that.
The
scene.
Pearl and X movies are amazing, and they're
Mm-hmm.
really good for the Halloween section. I feel I forgot that we have Maxine.
Yeah,
That's how.
but Maxine has one of my favorite
it's
kills
unfulfilling
too.
though. Maxine is not as good.
But it still has one of my favorite kills
It's
too.
not as good though.
You
It's
remember the
not, man.
videotape guy?
Yes.
That
Moses Sumney
yeah.
is the actor's name. His death and
In his death in Maxine
It's
was
nasty.
really, really cool.
but we're not here to talk about Maxine, but Maxine is the furthest detachment from the X franchise. Watch X or Pearl and then watch Maxine. You're not watching the same universe. Whereas if you watch X and Pearl, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not really what it's about there. My favorite death of all time is Scream 1, Drew Barrymore, and yours is Misty in Pearl, 2022. We have an episode just all about murder today, apparently, because essentially it came out in the news this week that Luca Guadagnino is directing a new adaptation of American Psycho for Lionsgate.
What did he work for beforehand?
Luca Guadagnino.
Yeah.
Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah.
He's queer, directed Queer, Bones and All. What else did he do this year? Challengers.
Mm-hmm. And he wants to do American Psycho?
They tapped him for it. He's doing it.
I'm a hater for that thing. I'm really not the biggest fan.
Of American Psycho?
Yeah.
I don't care for American Psycho like everybody else does. I like the memes that come from it.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Bateman is cool. Christian Bale, like whatever, he's great. He's a good actor, no question. Let's just say I like this in Luca Guadagnino's hands more than anybody else's hands if they're gonna remake it. And I think there's several points to be made about a topic like this. Luca Guadagnino is a director who can definitely cook with this type of material. Yeah. Luca Guadagnino is amazing. He's great at his job. Who would he get to cast in this role? I don't know. But where my concerns in a way lie is there's 1 million books in the world. 1 million, over 1 million, 1 billion books that have been written. Why do we adapt American Psycho again? We did it 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
I don't want to go like out of my knowledge,
yeah.
But from what I remember, the first American Psycho was not well received
upon release. No, it wasn't.
I feel like if they remake it today, the box office that this movie would have would be enough to justify the risk.
Sure. But the only thing that justifies this movie being made is that Luca Guadagnino's directing it, in my opinion. Because just adapt another book. Make a different movie. You want to remake American Psycho? Sure. What are we going with it? Where are you going with it? Well, we tapped Luca Guadagnino. Okay. You have an element of trust to get this done because you have one of the best living directors out now. But where I stand is like, he can do anything. Luca Guadagnino can adapt anything, but now he's going to adapt American Psycho. What is he going to do with this substance material? What has Luca Guadagnino done? He's been on the back end of several.
And who would be able to live up to Christian Bale's performance?
Anybody. I don't think that performance is that good.
I think that performance is unique. I don't see how you can recreate it.
I think he's just Sigma male.
That's the thing, though.
It won't be hard to do. It won't be hard to do.
No, but who?
Who's gonna do it? Probably top Chalamet for this. No, Guadagnino.
If they do, I'm not watching.
I don't know. I don't know. I trust Luca Guadagnino to do something amazing. He's made Suspiria. Suspiria is kind of scary. It's kind of good. He made Bones and All. It's creepy. It's fun.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, well, they eat people, right? No, he can do this. Like, you know, his emotional timing. I'm sure his version of American Psycho will have a much more emotional approach to it.
Mm-hmm. Which will probably help me, if I'm being honest. Because the first one felt extremely stale in its, like, handling of their characters. Which is why I don't like it. It's just the execution overall is just so detached from reality. Yeah. In a way, it feels like whatever the fuck is going on, I don't understand.
No.
In a way. And so, like, is there any other details that have been revealed, or just crazy?
No, that's it. Like Luca Guadagnino has his movies. He's set to direct it. They're adapting the book again, so I don't know. It'll be what it'll be.
In a world of adaptations, they chose the book.
Well, yeah.
Once
Well,
again.
I don't know who they're gonna put. Someone's like, yeah, I don't know.
I actually don't know too.
It's a situation where you're dealing with creativity meeting like remaking,
And it's
reimagining.
so early in the
only
process.
25 years ago. I don't know.
No, I meant in the fact that this is revealed. Yeah,
well,
this
God
one
knows.
is
Let's
early.
see. Let's see who he taps the star. Let's see how he does it. I think he could change the character of Patrick Bateman. It doesn't matter. I don't think that matters. I think this is about the descent of somebody into a psychopathic state, like socio. I think he'll do a good job.
I have a bigger question, and it's very specific, so you might not be able to answer it.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time or a movie that you remember that has been remade from a cult classic? Like a remake of a cult classic. Has anyone attempted that before? Because to me, it feels like when you're trying.
He did Suspiria. Suspiria was popular in this. It was a 70s movie, the 80s. 70s,
Yeah, but in the
80s.
sense that like it, you know how in today's like world, Patrick Bateman's character and like the overall American cycle
That's
just
something
lives
too.
on. Like
Yeah.
to me, it's just. I mean, they kind of did it with Scream, but not really. But like when you take
the
a
same
movie,
franchise.
it's the same franchise. But when you take a movie like that has like such a presence that you don't even ask yourself what would it look like in today's age. How do you go about it? It
I don't know.
Super,
I think
super
Luca
scary.
Guadagnino can do a good job because he's capable of that. He'll make a movie that feels more grounded, more gritty. It's like an art house version of American Psycho. That's what I think he'll do with this, and I believe in him. Whatever, run it. Another director that we tend to believe in is Christopher Nolan. Have you seen The Rumor?
I did. But now they're not rumors anymore.
No, it's
from
a
what I
rumor
understand.
still.
It's still a rumor.
Well, the only thing that's not rumored are the castings.
Yeah.
Tom Holland and Matt Damon are on for his next movie. And his latest film is rumored to be a period horror film set in the 1920s about vampires. That's the rumor.
That's not what I saw from a rumor. The rumor that I heard of was more so of an espionage movie.
Yeah, that was the first rumor. This is the current one. This is the one.
That's when you realize that people have no fucking clue what they're talking about. They know Nosferatu is coming along.
This one was popular. This rumor has made its way to like everybody. Like it's on all
because of fucking Tom Holland. The fact that it's tied together is just gonna give more context just to satisfy people.
Let's talk about this. Matt Damon.
Sure.
We know what he does. Matt Damon's Matt Damon. 1920, whatever the fuck Christopher Nolan's gonna do anyway, it doesn't matter. What I want to talk about is Tom Holland. Tom Holland, this is your chance.
Yeah.
Like this is it, bud. Show the world how good you are. Robert Pattinson had it. He's been in better shit beforehand, but he did it in Tenet. John David Washington did it in Tenet. Cillian Murphy got put on the biggest stage in Oppenheimer, won the Oscar. Emily Blunt showed up in Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan gives a platform for actors to come, show up, show out. Tom Holland,
be able to live up to it.
You're Spider-Man. It's go time, bro. This is it. This is your biggest movie that is going to demand the most out of you as an actor.
Is it his first big movie outside of a Marvel movie?
I don't know. He did the Uncharted movie.
But that was still a franchise piece, you know? It's a...
Like you're talking about a standalone?
The standalone,
I don't know.
Because, Pattinson had good times there. He had all movies. It just...
No.
Yeah.
He was in Cherry. But Cherry was not received well.
Wasn't it the movie or the TV show that he stopped acting for a year after because he was it's so
That was The Crowded Room. The Crowded Room was not received so well either. It was fine though. He can act. There's no question. It's just how are we gonna elevate you to a Christopher Nolan? This is your chance to be. This is gonna be his biggest stage.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan brings people,
and he has the ability to steal the show.
Yeah, he
which
can.
is something people don't recognize enough in him. I feel because he's gonna be with and collaborating with Matt Damon, from what we know, from all of these actors that are very well established, are very like strong characters and strong people in a movie, and still I feel like he's gonna be the standout because he's Tom fucking Holland.
I don't know about all that. He was in the movie on there's a Netflix movie that came out years ago called The Devil All the Time.
Yeah.
And it was him, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, but I remember you liked it.
I did. The movie's really good. I think I remember enjoying the movie a lot. But what I'm saying is I remember in that movie, the cast outshining him. As good as he wasn't better than the Bill Skarsgårds and the Robert Pattinsons and the Sebastian Stan. He wasn't better than them.
But was he the main character?
Yeah, he was the main character.
But that was when? Like in 2021?
2020.
2020?
He'd already been deep into Spider-Man. 2 Spider-Man films deep. He's older now. I don't know. I like Tom.
Me too.
I like Tom. I think Tom can do it. Except when you look at Tom, literally though. Spider-Man, Avengers, Spider-Man, Avengers.
I don't know. It's just...
That's what he's made.
But it feels like the right next step, you know?
Yeah.
Like
no, this is good. It's a big step for him. It's
Yeah.
a cool step for him. It's a big step for him.
And the fact that Christopher Nolan is willing to like have a go with him and just make a movie.
That's what you got to trust the most.
Yeah.
Is like if Christopher Nolan's saying like, all right,
let's go. Like, because at the end of the day, Christopher Nolan's vision will lead you to like the promised land.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
If you just buy into his ideas and overall just execute what he asks of you, you're probably well off. Like
for sure.
At the end of the day, gotta trust the process.
Yeah, that we're gonna see it in April or July 2026. A while ago, but we'll get there.
All I'm hoping for is that it's not a 1920s horror movie. It's about vampires.
I think it will be. I think it's dope. Anyway,
we already have one coming up.
No, fucking Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. That's it's okay. There's like a year and a half between the two of them.
There's Nosferatu.
Nosferatu is not that like Christopher Nolan can do that. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu is going to be fun, and then we'll deal with Christopher Nolan when it comes. It's 2 years from now, brother. Big chillin'. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you very much for listening to the CineClwd Podcast this week. I fucking hate this. There you go.
Goddamn. That was passive aggressive.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much for listening to CineClwd Podcast. If you like the video or if you like the podcast, leave the like, rate the 5 stars, do whatever you want to do. Or just be honest. If you have feedback, whatever, leave a comment. As long as it's nice, because we're nice to you, we deserve to be nice too. My mom told me, treat people how you want to be treated.
Mom's always right.
Mom's always right. Yes, outside of that, thank you very much for your time today. And share with your friends and shit. And we'll see you next week, same time, same station.
I gotta do a face.